Just 90 minutes from Chicago and 2.5 hours from Detroit lies the Lake Michigan Wine Trail. Following the signs along the miles of beautiful shoreline, you can enjoy the great variety of award-winning wines. They are produced by member wineries from hundreds of acres of locally grown grapes. Today we're visiting Tabor Hill Winery, located in Buchanan, Michigan. Tabor Hill was established in 1968. Today it is an estate of 40 acres on the sandy soil of rolling hills, which were formed by glaciers. These hills, and the weather created by Lake Michigan, allow Southwest Michigan to be one of the finest grape-growing regions in the world. Come take the tour with us, guided by Tabor Hill winemaker Michael Merchant. I thank you so much for letting us join you at Tabor Hill.
Pleasure.
It's so incredible. Can you explain to us, apart from the beauty of Tabor Hill, how the location near Lake Michigan and this lake effect affects the grapes?
Well, the main reason the fruit belt ended up here was because of Lake Michigan. That, in conjunction with the terrain, moderate the temperatures in the spring and the fall. It gives us a little bit longer ripening season in the fall by being warmer, not too far inland, but say within 10-15 miles. Conversely, in the spring, it'll keep the temperatures cooler. So the buds don't want to burst out early due to early heat. So it keeps them dormant longer and gives less chance for there to be a spring frost.
It's like a gradual kind of
Exactly.
thaw.
And more of a guarantee that we will be able to nurture those primary buds out that we need to have to make a good crop.
Now, earlier today we watched, actually from the putting the actual grape into the press. Explain to us briefly what we saw this morning.
We brought them in and we take them through a regular process of they get dumped into a hopper that then goes through and they're crushed and destemmed, which case the must is then pumped into the press.
How about if we have some of that while you continue to explain?
Sure. Like I was saying, once the must was into the press, it goes through a hour-and-a-half cycle that will get out of the 8 to 9 crushed tons of fruit that went into the press, we would get about 1,300 gallons of juice. We'll let that settle overnight, inoculate it with our particular strain of yeast that we're going to be making the wine out of, and it'll ferment for about a month or so. We'll rack it again. It'll be cold stabilized. We rely on Mother Nature in Michigan for that process. We haven't had a January let us down yet. And then we're into February, March, and we start doing our blending. Or any wine that tends to go into oak barrels. That's the time it will go into oak barrels for a year to 18 months. And then we start the bottling process, which will last through August, and we have to have all of our tanks cleared then and emptied for the next harvest coming in.
The estate of Tabor Hills is spectacular. Tell us how many acres, how many vines? I don't know, give us a bit of the demographics on that.
Okay, how many vines? Get your calculators out.
How many grapes grow on each cluster?
There's about 800 vines to an acre. Let's see, we have maybe 40 acres of grapes here, 35 to 40. And we're growing 12 different varieties that we grow on property. We produce about 28 different types of wines. Some of them are supplemented by our partners, the local growers, of which some are other wineries as well. There's a very good cooperation between the different wineries and winemakers. In fact, during the winter months, we get together in an afternoon and go over what wines we have coming down the pike, discuss problems, and give ideas to each other.
That's
and
great.
it is.
So it is a community.
It is.
You're not only near in the vicinity, but also the cooperation and the collaboration.
Correct, and help. You know, we're always, if somebody is out of something and needs something today, like bottles or whatever, those phone calls are not uncommon. Particularly during harvest, you know, there's a lot of critical timing that goes on there as far as you get grapes off the vine, they need to be processed immediately. And you have, you know, equipment does break. And if something happens, you call your neighbor, and they will either work all night to help you get your stuff done. And it's just an understood thing, is that's just what you do.
That's great. You know, that's encouraging to know. You wouldn't, I don't know, I never thought about the real community aspect of it.
Sure.
Not only the 12 wineries that are part of the wine trail, but I mean actually helping each other out in time of need. Sort of like the
Absolutely.
old time farmers.
Yeah, kinda. It just is something that you treat as you want to be treated.
Yes. Well, Mike, thank you so much for inviting us.
Thanks
For this informational.
having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you were very
great.
cool. We had a good time. So now we're going to taste some of this delicious Tabor Hill wine. A little aperitif. Chin chin.